So guys, welcome back. In this video we are going to see the Linux basic commands. So I have written already the commands what I want to discuss in this topic in a notepad text editor, not to miss any command. So first open your terminal guys, click on this menu button or Windows button, and here type to search terminal. So you will get this terminal and you will get some small size terminal. So to enlarge that terminal, click on edit and go to preferences. Now we are going to do some small customizations for our terminal, and there you can see these are the general settings and these are the shortcuts. Now I am going to edit some shortcuts. These are all user preference. You can edit shortcuts for your taste. So I'm going to say new tab, control plus T and Ctrl C and paste as Ctrl V. And to increase the font size for this terminal, what you're going to do is click on this custom font. Actually it will be this will be your default terminal, and if you want to increase that, click on this custom font and click on this font type, and you need to increase the font size to 18 or above will be good to easily view the content. Click on select and click on close. So guys, this is our terminal, and here we need to input some commands. I mean, we should give the some commands to the terminal and it will give the output. So let's check what is this one. This one is the username which we have created, Nikki, and this one is the Ubuntu machine, I mean the machine's name. So I have logged in as Nikki user in the machine name Ubuntu. At the rate tells that this user have been logged into this machine. And there is this tilde symbol. We will talk about it in a few moments. And this is the dollar. Dollar indicates the shell. And there you can see, if I hit enter, there will be a cursor blinking, and this cursor blink means that this shell has been waiting for our commands to enter. So the first command we will be learning is in what directory we are in. To know about what current directory we are in, we need to type pwd, which stands for print working directory. Now if I hit enter, I will get the path in which folder I am running this terminal, right? So it's in /home/Nikki. So starting from root address, it's in the home directory in the Nikki folder. So let's verify that. Click on our file manager, and this file manager defaultly opens our home folder, and you can see, right click on this and open in terminal, you will get the same path. And if I type pwd, and I will get the same output, home Nikki, because the terminal starts from the home directory of that user. So in normal graphical user interface, we will navigate to the files, right? First, in order to navigate to that directory or folder, you need to know what directories are present in your current directory, right? To view the contents of a folder or a directory, you need to type ls. So you can see the output, and in my home Nikki directory, okay, directory means the folders. So in my home Nikki directory, there is desktop folder and downloads folder, music folder, public, and etc. You can see this folder color is indicated by bluish color, right? If I go to my files, and there you can see these are all folders, and they are indicated by the blue color, and normal files are indicated by white color. So in order to go into say desktop, we need to type cd. Cd stands for change directory, and we need to give the folder name you need to move on to. So if you say cd desktop and hit enter, you will move to desktop. Now if I type pwd, print working directory, I get home Nikki, and then we move to desktop, right? That's why it's showing us desktop. And now we are going to create a file to create a file we need to say touch test.txt, or let's say temp.txt. So I have created a temp text file, and now to view the contents of this desktop directory I want to say ls. So I have already created this temp2. Let me keep it. Now I have created this temp.txt. There are some extra arguments you can give to this ls command to get more information, like say ls minus a. So ls minus a produces an output, and that gives some more information, that is dot and dot dot. Okay, we will talk about in this symlinks topic. So if I want to remove the file from the directory, I want to say rm and the file name. So now if I type ls, we can see that our file has been deleted successfully. Remember guys, this is irreversible process. You cannot restore the deleted file in the Linux. So if you delete normally from the file manager, it will store into recycle bin, then you can later restore, but from terminal you cannot restore a deleted file. So let's say I want to create a new folder. To do that, I want to type the mkdir command. Mkdir stands for make directory, and let's say test. Now if I say ls, you can see there is a temp.txt file which we have created before, and then test folder. So if I want to move into the test, I want to say cd test, right? If I say ls, it shows no output because there are no files, since we have created this test directory just recently. So okay guys, now I have came back to my test directory. Now what if I want to go back to the desktop? So what I can do is cd home Nikki and desktop, right? So this is very long path, and if there are so many folders, like 10 folders, if you need to go back, it's very time consuming and tedious task. So what I want to do is I want to say ls minus a. So previously I have said this dot and dot dot. Now the dot represents this current directory which we are in, and dot dot represents the parent directory of this directory. So the parent directory of this test is desktop. So I can easily navigate to the parent directory using cd and dot dot. Now if I hit enter, you can see I have moved to the parent directory which is desktop. So in this way we can use these shortcuts to navigate to parent directory easily. Now let's also see what is dot, and if I say cd dot, and I will be in the same directory because dot represents the current directory from that directory onwards. And you can just imagine the path, this path as this dot. It's like shortcut. And the next one I'm going to tell is rmdir command. So rmdir deletes the directory. Rmdir stands for remove directory. Since we have test directory in our desktop folder, then I can just say rmdir test. And if I say ls, so there is no test directory because we have deleted using rmdir command. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me make the test folder again. Now I can say ls test. From desktop directory I can view the contents of test directory using ls space test. So there are no contents in the test directory, right? Okay, now let's go to test directory, and now let's create a new file. Say temp2.txt. If I say ls, now in my test folder there is a temp2.txt. So now I am going back, and now I want to delete the test directory. So we have learned the command, that rmdir command, rmdir space the directory name you want to delete, right? So if I say rmdir test, so it gives us some error, rmdir failed to remove test directory not empty. So this rmdir command deletes the directory only when it is empty. It cannot delete when the directory contains any files or folders. So to overcome this, what you want to do is, you want to go into the test directory and delete everything, or even you can just forcefully delete using rm command. So rm minus rf, this R stands for recursively. That means if the test folder contains any folders, and in that folders there are any folders like subfolders, then this command will automatically delete everything in this test folder. That's called recursiveness. And F means forcibly. So we are using this switch, I mean this option in this directory because this directory is not empty. So let's say test. Now if I say ls, so there is no test file. We have successfully deleted the test folder even though that folder is not empty. This is very dangerous command, guys. You cannot execute with the root user permissions. Okay, we will talk about that later. Now what I want to do is, I just create a file. Okay, since we have created the file temp.txt, to view the contents of the file you need to type cat. Cat is a command which displays the contents of the file. And if I say cat temp.txt, it shows me nothing because there is no content in the text file. So one way to write is, I say echo, there is a echo command, echo hi, and if I hit enter, it will send the output as the string we passed as an argument to this command. So if I say echo hi, it prints hi. If I say echo Nikhil, sorry, so it prints hi, it prints Nikhil. So whatever we pass in this string, it will be printed as an output. So now we can redirect this output to temp.txt file. So we are learning a new thing here. So we are just printing out this Nikhil and then we are storing it in temp.txt file. This is called redirection operator. It means that the output of this first command will be stored in a file. So if I hit enter, there will be no output, but if I view the temp.txt, our Nikhil will be there. So if I say cat temp.txt, so the Nikhil is successfully stored in the temp.txt. Now I want to show you another one. Let's say Nikhil hello world. Now if I say double greater than, it is also kind of redirection operator, but what it does is, it will delete all the contents of the temp.txt and it will place only this content. Okay, sorry, I did wrong. So it appends the contents of this command to this text file. Now if I hit enter and say, so guys, if you have typed the 10 commands, you can traverse through those 10 commands using the up arrow in your keyboard. So if I say up arrow, I will say cat temp.txt. Now if I view the contents of temp.txt, hello world has been appended to the end of the file. So first what we have done is, we have printed the output of the hello world and we have appended to the temp.txt file. And what we have done is, next the cat command shows us the contents of temp.txt and it shows us the Nikhil and hello world. Okay, now I told you that up arrow traverse through the previous commands you have typed, right? Now if I press up arrow once, it will give me this command because this is the command I have previously typed. Now if I type up arrow again, Okay, now it will shows us this command. So if I type up arrow again, and then it will shows us this command. Now I want to again redirect this output into temp.txt file. Okay, now what this does is it will execute this command and output is overwritten the contents of the temp.txt file. That means the previously stored contents of the temp.txt file will be deleted, and this output will only be stored in the text file. If I say cat temp.txt, now the only output is Nikhil, and only it has been stored in the text file. In the previous we have 2 lines, and those 2 lines were deleted, and the output of this only this command will be stored in the temp.txt file. Alright, now what we can do is we can pipe this output to the more operator, cat temp.txt file. Now what I want to do is I can pipe this output to the, let's say, more. What this does is this pipe operator takes the output of this command and it will give the input to this command. So if I hit enter, okay, this more just shows us the contents of the text file. Now there is similar command to the more, that is less. So the cat temp.txt file shows us this output, and then that will be given as input to this less command. The less command is very helpful when there are so many hundreds of lines of content in your text file or any file. Then you can just start from the beginning and you can just scroll like this. So there is only one. If I scroll down, I get this error sound. So to quit this less command, I can say just q. So the less command will be not important now, but in the future videos we will see the less commands importance. Okay, now we are going to copy the files from one directory to the another directory, right? If I say ls, we have the temp.txt. Now let's make a new directory called test again. If I say ls, I have the text file and the folder. Now to copy the text file into the test directory, all you need to say is cp, which stands for copy, and type the temp.txt and then the destination you want to move to, test. So now if I say ls test, that means I am viewing the contents of the test folder. I have this temp.txt in my test folder. We have successfully copied our file into this folder. Alright, now let's go into that directory and remove that file. I want to say rm temp.txt. So I'm going back to my parent directory by cd dot dot. If I say ls, I have the text file and a folder. Now if I say ls test, there is empty folder. So now what I want to do is I want to move this temp.txt file to the test folder. All I want to do is mv, stands for move, and I want to type the temp.txt, and then to the destination I want to move to, test. Now if I hit enter, if I say ls, so there is no temp.txt in my desktop folder because it has been moved to test folder. Let's see that one. If I say cd test and if I say ls, and there you go guys, our temp.txt file has been successfully moved to the test folder. And this is one way of moving the folder, and this move command can also be used as the renaming file, because we are moving this file to the another file, then automatically that contents will be placed and this text file will be deleted. So this move command can be used to rename a file. So I want to say temp2.txt. so if I say ls, Now there is no temp.txt because we have moved to the temp2.txt. So there is no particular rename command in the Linux. We just use the mv command to rename a file. And sometimes you need to know about what user you have been logged in. Sometimes you can see here I am logged in as Nikki, but there will be some situations where you log in into the SSH, or you just get basic shell from the victim machine or the vulnerable machine you are trying. Then you need to know the username. For that there is a command called who am I. So on typing who am I, the output gives us the username you have been logged into. So I am going to go back to my parent directory, and if I say ls, there is my test folder. So one way to find the files is you need to sometimes search through the computer for some particular file. So one command is locate command. So I want to say locate space and the file name I want to search in my computer. Since we know that temp.txt file is in test directory, let's locate for that file. If I say locate temp2.txt, it will gives us the nothing output, because so guys, but you think that this locate command has been failed. No, this locate command will use the database of files, and if we create a new file, then we need to update that database. To do that, you need to type sudo update db. So this sounds somewhat confusing or like complex topic. We are just using the sudo, that means root user permissions, and we are updating the database. So I am going to type in my password. Now it will automatically update the database and cache for our files. And if I now if I locate the temp2.txt, now I get the result as home Nikki desktop, and the test folder I had the temp2.txt file. So we need to update every time we have created the new file. So guys, we have got this locate temp2.txt output, and we can just locate the file using the locate command. Right now there is another command called man command to view the manual pages for any command. If I say man ls, now it says list directory contents, and you can see there are options you can give to the ls command to get some more information about the files and directories. And you can check the manual pages if you don't know any command. And the next command we want to see is which command. This which command is used to test whether the software has been installed or not, and it just output the directory where the software has been installed. Let's say which python 3. So usr bin python 3. So my python 3 binary has been in the usr bin python 3. So this is one way you can find if there is a programming language installed or not on the remote machine. So this is very important when you want to get a TTY shell or any privilege escalation. You can just check if there is a particular programming language is installed or not. Right now there is another command called what is, and if I say what is ls, it just gives basic idea of what that command does. If I say what is ls, and it just prints out the first line of the manual page, that is list directory contents. And there is another command alias. So what if I say alias temp is equals to ls minus a. So ls minus a shows us the files and folders including the hidden directories. So hidden directories are the directories or the folders those that start with dot. So if I say new file named dot nikhil, then if I type ls, then that for file will not be displayed in that ls command. What you want to do is you need to type ls minus a to display all the files and folders including the hidden files. Now we can put the aliases for some specific commands. So I think if so I am lazy to type ls minus a every time, so instead of that I can just alias that command to this variable temp, and if I hit enter, now that alias name has been included, and if I say just temp, this command will be executed. So let me show the same output. So if I say temp and if I say ls minus a, the both outputs are same because I am just keeping the nickname for this command or just putting a alias name for this whole command as temp. So I think I have covered all the commands, guys, in this file. Okay, I have not covered history. So history command tells the history of your commands you have given to the shell. If I type enter, you can see these are the commands you have given to the terminal, right? You can see there are a lot of commands. So one way to delete this, there is a way to delete this history contents. If I want to say history space minus d. Alright, I am wrong. Okay, let's see the arguments. Sorry, history minus c. I'm so sorry, I just confused. Now if I type history, so you can see, guys, if I type the upper arrow mark, there is some error sound because there are no history commands. It means that all the commands in our history file are deleted. So I want to manually enter every command. So if I say history, so there is only one command, that is we have just entered now history. So in this way we can type the history c to clear out the history. So guys, this is all about the Linux basic commands.